In this tutorial, we're going to be modifying the table structure within a database. In a database, we know that we have a collection of tables, and these tables are often related to each other. The table structure consists of rows which run horizontally and columns which run vertically. In a database, the column heading is a field, and the field names can be seen at the top of each column. The rows contain pieces of data about under each field that it relates to. A collection of fields within a row is a record. So student ID, first name, last name, telephone contact, area of residence are the fields, and 1, 2, 3, student ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a record for Susan Forbes, who resides in Marbella. Now we're going to look at how do we add new fields to a table structure. We can click in the area of the top of the column, which is where the field name goes, and select our data type if we are in the datasheet view. Remember that we can utilize two views to work within our database, the datasheet view and the design view. In the datasheet view, we can click at the top of our column, specify the data type, and then name the field. If we switch to the design view, we can add the field name in the design view window. Here we want to add date of birth, and we will assign this data type as date, time, and this will give details on the date of birth of the student. For format, we can select general, long, medium, short, and in medium date, we would like to select medium date, and the format is the day, month abbreviated, followed by the year. So let's switch back to our design view, our datasheet view, sorry. And here we can see added the date of birth on our table. Let's add a field in the design view. Click in the area on the top of the column, select your data type, and simply type to name the field that you would like to name. Here we can see that the field name is not showing clearly. We can modify our column width by placing our cursor between the line of both columns. You are going to see a solid line and a double-headed arrow, and simply drag to increase or drag to decrease the width of the column. Let's rename this column. We would like to rename this column, and we can do that by double-clicking in the area, and we simply want it to be named Fee to be Paid. We can also rename the column by right-clicking in the field area and selecting Rename Field. Similarly, to increase the height of a row or decrease the height of a row, we can place our cursor between the solid line between rows. We will see the icon change, the cursor change to a solid line and a double-headed arrow. We click and drag down to increase, and you can see that it increases all columns uniformly, and click and drag up to decrease the all rows, and click and drag up to decrease the height of each row, and it also decreases the height uniformly. We are reminded that our data type will define the type of data that we are going to store in our database. So in the table structure here, we have a data type for currency. If we try to add text, we are going to get an error message coming up. The value you enter does not match the currency data type in this column. So we will enter a new value, and we see that the value is accepted. Similarly, if we try to enter text into our date of birth column where we had specified a date, we are going to be asked to enter a new value. Here we have a pop-up calendar, or we can add our date manually. 12th August 2010. And remember, this was the format that we had chosen for our data type. In our design view, we have options for each field and each description, and we can change the field properties for each field that we have identified. So for example, our student ID data type, which is number, and it represents the identification number of a student, the field properties can be changed to a byte, integer, single digit, double digit, replication ID, or decimal. Similarly, for short text, we can specify the field size. For date currency, we can specify the format. For date time, we can specify the format. And for currency, we can also specify the denomination, whether it be euro, fixed, standard, percent, etc. So what we have looked at today is manipulating the table structure, or modifying the table structure within a database. Remember that a database is a repository for information, and this information is stored in table form. The table structure can be modified by naming, renaming, increasing the width of the columns, increasing or decreasing the width of the columns, increasing or decreasing the height of the rows, re-adding a field name, renaming the field, deleting the field, inserting a field, and fields can also be sorted. We have two views within which to make changes to our database. These are the datasheet view, which is the one currently on the screen, and the other view is the design sheet view.